we got some Galileo up here, and I forget the name of the term that he's dealing with, but this line right here is super critical. So again, I'm working on my new grimoire, and it's not that any of my old ones couldn't be taken off their cover and then rebound into the system. There might be some subtle differences in sizes, but I think I got them all real close, so one day when I kind of topically work economics, pure mathematics. This is a recon, remember. Specifically, the one I'm starting with here, this is probably going to be my cover. Here we have a basic idea of you.
Sort of an old man. I mean, more.
When you do these recons, there's going to be a whole list of stuff just about you.
Something like Secretary of the Treasury.
Just about you, different terms, thermaler, this technique that I named, chisel tapping, or whatever. It's this curve. It's faster to do it that way than just send the rock after it's been burnt and you don't care about it between steps of processes in polarized cells. Okay, so I want you to be very critical with this. I'm probably going to get into the order of the skull real heavy inside of here because the skull is real important. I might even get into some neurology into this. I don't know if I'm going to go full on Da Vinci with this and break down the bones and anatomy. I think anatomy it's a great subject matter for the grimoire. You need some kind of local medicine, but when it comes to the heavy-duty chemistry, look at what you got at hand. Okay, what am I talking about that? Well, you have NP, you have P order, S order, F order on the periodic table, right? But look around. How often do you use it? Now, if I wanted to go copper in the ground, some green rock to bullet, that's one thing. And probably more practical than space to computer from nothing. You go on Amazon, you buy it. That's a way to do it from these shortest distances. IH would be 0. IH, the rational smallest distance here is going to be a straight line or a curved line. Geodesics or the optics on this one. Do we go back and go from copper and rocks and redo the periodic table from solid state chemistry? How about organic chemistry? This object, how it acts with another object, this ball, this sneaky topology problem.
Yes, it is. It's a beautiful...
Okay, so when we're going through this, it's a bit of a squared circle, and I'm not 100%, it's not a perfectly squared circle for Da Vinci, or Leonardo here, but I'm assuming inside of there that there was some fancy black magic for autonomy, some pentagram you can do over that. I think we've all seen it, right?
It's an empirical fact that is how light behaves. And
yeah, in my house, I've yet to see anything of the like. So with that in mind, let's begin here. The angle of the dangle is directly proportional to the class of the lass's ass, right, bro? Now, there is an angle at a 45 inside here, because that Hubble 45 is very lensing. This is 0. This vitruvian man is 0. He stands 5'9", 150 pounds, and we are going to begin to graph town on the rabbit order here because there are multiple differences. Well, firstly, I have to soldier, mathematician, everything that you, IH, are. So male, female, they're all zeros and ones. This is an electron, polarized wave function. I can go woman next on a Vitruvian woman, and then go Vitruvian Sigourney Weaver alien, and then just do nothing but those things. But that is not my intention here. We're going to make some radical jumps, and hopefully you ladies, you understand inside here. Simple enough, yeah? So I don't want any Sharps bullshit coming up on the table today, yeah? Great. Inside of there, again, this 45 is going to be from negative, be 0 and everything back to positive. What a rational number given people are terms. Mathematicians, engineers, these are things that are going to give you some sectors in the Penn's row here for the Carl Sagan universe loaf that we're about to go through.
To spell that out a little bit more,
so you tell me this one thing, this potential, or M is I, it's irrational, it's momentum. Momentum is an irrational value away from the particle or the hadron collider. Get it out of here. Mathematically speaking, just as mathematicians, what have we done here? All right, so we got some skater on here in the vitruvian half pipe for what the shortest distance would be to describe where this is useful. And that's about what it's going to be useful. Of course, we could talk about potential and momentum of a swinging pendulum or some system inside here of the congruency of the nu, or velocity vector, the nu inside here. Look at the period. Look at the subatomic periodic table, standard model. That's a nu. Nu electron, anti-electron, anti-tau, anti-neutrino. This is a nu. This is a mu. I'm catching a temperature difference here. There are three things I'm looking at, and here are the planes which it could traverse. If he's going down the ramp and he's fully standing up, the projectile will only shoot so far. If you drop your momentum, cut the air resistance down, or maybe even turn sideways, V1, V2, V3, they would still be congruent in polarized cells to what actually happened. So I'm watching this guy go. He did it once, reset. It's not just something that's going to just jump right in there like, oh, slow down, multi-world circumstances, a Schrodinger's wave function equation. No. Get your 2,000 frame per second high-speed camera out and start going to town. IH. That's that shortest distance inside of there for sine of theta. It's that angle. Theta here is always going to be a 45. Always. It's the smallest number you could possibly make it, because that square will shrink to 0 and grow to infinity as long as it is square by those standards. Obviously, you are not square. You're not square. You have forward paradox, predator looking in this direction. Everything we do mathematically, where's the rabbit? Engineering, where's the rabbit? Where's the heat? Where's the heat in this engineering here? The second law of thermodynamics for a perfectly dynamic machine. Before you tear out every bolt in it, something different. Redesign it in every way.
Book called The Mathematical Mechanic, in which he uses principles of mechanics.
So we're going to go through this, and we're going to start to do this sphered circle problem. I'm going to play with it a little bit, and like I said, I want to get into some of the neurology here. To your finger does this. Now we actually have distances inside here to the one. This is what it was from here to here. What's going on in the brain? Just to limit that. You might have a hard-on. Some pretty girl walking in front of you while you were doing it. You know, we're starting to separate those things from the brain, neurology, and neural net here, given potentials and momentum. If I see that, that's what goes on. Is that something I need? Do I need neural net for those things? When you kind of make that realization, oh, that's what that did. So if this thing feels like that commonly, just feels like that, that's how it's rolling, bar at the bar, law. What's going to happen? Calc that. Would you for me, please? Just not yours. Everything. Well, if everything's too much for you, why don't we stick with just you? Where do you stand when you're 5'9" and a bunch of soldiers? This is not a discriminative statement. We all know the Munchin Brigade. For buds, that's the real. You know, they are congruent by the same standards. This number will work, and heaven help whoever didn't.
The tangent line of the cycloid path of P is perpendicular to
side here, we got to be able to graph those. You know, between here, scale is going to be a huge important factor between 5'9" and what scale or system we're trying to graph. You know, how many times did I look at one person and say, over the hole, they run generally this fast, they jump generally this fast, stand in the line, form a machine gun. There's your projectile weapon right there, trebuchet. You know, potential and the momentum of the arc, get this ramped up inside here, and all of a sudden the trajectory goes this way. Look what they're doing. Now, how are you supposed to get anything out of that? No offense, 3B, I love your work. I mean, as far as computer engineering is concerned, you're going to graph, oh, wow, there was no mistakes between the bug in here. But at least in the presentation, that is one. I would still be graphing any kind of hitchy, hold on, wait, I got to debug that and type in some things. That's one. That's going to take a few inches off of there, off of this presentation. You're going to show up and graph some soldiers. Am I going to catch you on this because mathematicians doesn't work and you're going to stand there with your dick in your hand?
So, when you combine Johann Bernoulli's